This is Lisa, Matt and Rose from Barclay Jones. We are going to give you some ideas on how you can use Bullhorn to drive and secure your sales pipeline, and maybe have a think about where that pink subtitle, what song that might remind you of, and which person or God actually created that lovely melody. Let's move forward then onto the next slide. So I'm Lisa, and then we've got the lovely Matt and Rose with us today. They're fantastic Bullhorn trainers, automation coaches, and also really help our clients with their Bullhorn first. Say hi, Matt and Rose.
Hello.
Excellent. Let's keep going then. Let's go. Let's go. We're on a mission, and I've had a double espresso, so we're on fire today. Right then, so we do three things ultimately. If you're a recruiter that needs training, whether it be Bullhorn, recruitment training, temp training, sales training, source breaker training, automation training, analytics training, I could just keep putting a word, something big and then training. We do it. And we've got a platform to do that as well. We also do Bullhorn ROI. So we've got a few of our clients on the call today who are on one of our Bullhorn Vision projects, helping them use it more effectively, helping it work quicker, which would be nice, wouldn't it? So we all get a bit more time to dance at the end of the day. And then we also do a lot of automation work to help our clients improve their speed, their pipeline. And we've got a couple of webinars coming up. Keep an eye out for that. Next slide. So in terms of the different things we do, this is Recruitment Hit, and some of our hit clients are on the webinar today. So welcome. We have a load of training on here, which I've just listed. If you wrote it all down, I'm sure you did. We'd love to be giving free trials out to people so you can have a quick play. It's called Recruitment Hit because it's fast, it's exciting. You need sweatbands. No, you don't. Or Lycra. Yes, you do. To be on it. But the idea is, who wants loads of training that just drowns them in and they don't remember most of it? Who wants lots of small, sharp, let's do some sourcing in 3 minutes? Yes, we all do. So we've got a really cool platform to help, whether you're new or experienced. I'll let you figure that out in your own time. This is obviously Recruitment Hit. You've seen a little bit of a thing of it so far on the webinar already. So we'll move on to the next slide. Obviously, I'm trying to sell it to you today, aren't I? Did you see that subtle approach? We've talked about Bullhorn ROI. We are fixated. If you've got Bullhorn and then the only people making money from it are the people you bought it from, that's a bit silly. If you've got Bullhorn, you should be saying, I'm glad I've got it. The data's amazing. I'm placing most of my candidates from it. Makes me competitive. It's a USP. I know what I'm doing with it. It allows me to have a fantastic work-life balance. Or maybe you just use it when you've got a minute. I know what I prefer. So we're into Bullhorn first for obvious reasons, because we make loads of money for our clients with us doing that. So let's keep doing that. If you're one of those businesses, let us know. And also, if you've got automation and it's not purring like a freaking Ferrari, if it's not giving you lists of people to call that are on literally waiting for your call right now, if it's not cleaning up your data so you spend less time messing about on LinkedIn and job adverts, which none of us really like if we put our minds to it. If it's not doing all of those things, if it's not enabling you to become an amazing recruitment consultant or leader, if it's not enabling you to scale quicker and run faster and place quicker, we'd like to be your buddy. So give us a call. Next slide. Okay, so we've got some webinars coming up. And those of you that are very clever, all of you, will have phones with you probably, very likely, and you will have a camera app. You can point it at the QR code and press the button and it will link you to our automation webinar that's happening in 2 weeks' time. I know you're doing that right now. Even if you don't have automation, this is a really good webinar to help you understand how automation really is going to help you. So it's worth thinking about that. And if you do have automation, lots of tips. Thank you very much. On to the next slide. We want to know about your Bullhorn adoption. I'm always really interested in the answer to this question. How does Bullhorn, what's its purpose within your business? Is it your friend? Is it just that, Bullhorn, I've just got another job, let's do this? Or Bullhorn, I've just had another candidate interview, what can we do about that? Bullhorn, who do I need to ring today? Be a bit scary actually, wouldn't it, if that's the case? But that's how it should be. Yeah, something to think about. Right, that's done. Close that down, let's move on. We like to do a bit of research on these webinars. It gives us confidence more than anything. Our next webinar in October, by the way, is all about productivity. Oh God, we're all a bit sick of hearing about that on TikTok and stuff like that. I'm not. I'm always up for a bit of productivity. You can tell from the speed at which I speak. Again, grab your camera apps and book yourselves onto this. Yeah, want to see you next month. We're starting an entire series on productivity, because why stop at account management when there's BD, when there's sourcing, when there's cleaning up your data so you can make some money from it? when there's managing your candidates, because you don't want to leave them to manage themselves. It's a very dangerous thing for a recruiter to do. Managing your jobs, managing your clients, managing yourselves. Going to be so much going on from a productivity perspective. Need to see you there. Every day is a school day. Next, please. Lovely. Tell us about training. Quickly grab you. Who said they were coming onto a webinar just to watch us dance like monkeys? You need to warm yourselves up, people. So, want to know all about the training in your business? Want to know what's going on? Yeah? Sometimes when you're a recruitment consultant or leader or colleague or whatever you want to call yourselves right now, you're so busy putting your candidates and clients. And also, I say putting them first. Often they put themselves first. They've got their own agendas. And it's difficult just to sit back and go, actually, there's some problems I need to solve with myself. How I use systems, how I prevent counteroffers and dropouts. Maybe I need to screen more effectively. But it's difficult to put your hand up and go, I need to stop just for a minute and sort myself out, or I need a bit of training, or maybe I was trained by someone who was trained by someone who was trained by no one. And I see that a lot. I've been in the market 25 years. I've seen the recruitment market not really get its arms around its consultants enough. There might be, have your induction, right off you go, or just learn from these people around you. And did you know, by the way, 70% of what the average person does in their job is learned from copying. So if you go on a training course that no one else has maybe been on in recent years, and then you go back to your desk, over time, you will conform to what's going on around you. So unless your training is continuous, oh God, is what I'll say. Take that, let it lean in. Lovely. On to the next slide, please. Fantastic. We know you don't have much time in the day, which is why we've got Recruitment Hit, and we do these very short webinars, yeah? But we've also got something really nifty called 1 minute tips, and they last a minute to watch, and there's a tip in there. There you go, not complicated. Got loads of them on our website. Keep an eye out for your LinkedIn, because I sometimes send you messages, and so does Wayne as well, my business partner, the Barclay. But also keep an eye out for the mailers that we send every week, because we always put tips in there. I'm incredibly keen on you being lean, mean, like a machine, recruitment machine, but obviously dressed up as a human and sounding like a human and being really cute and cuddly. Right then, on to the next. Very interested now in performance. We all are, aren't we? Whether we perform as parents, for those of us that have just sent our kids back to school, breathe, everybody. Performance is important to us, whether we're leaders, whether it's our team's performance, our business performance, we're recruitment consultants and how we're performing, what numbers go up on our boards, whether it be virtual or real, resources, how quickly we're sourcing. Performance is important. And if I know anything about recruitment, as much as I've drawn a beautiful circle of beautiful straight curves, what's that? But basically a beautiful cycle without any interruptions. Yeah, because it's so easy, recruitment, isn't it? So I'm a big fan of improving performance. I'm a big fan of looking at that circle and going, where do I need to improve? Is it that I need more BD or account management? Is it that I need to prevent people rejecting or being counteroffered? Is it that I'm not very good at placement aftercare, and as a result of that, I'm not necessarily recycling my contractors or temps, or maybe people aren't giving me the referrals that actually would make me a crazy amount of money? I'm a big fan of performance, but I want to know from you, next slide, next step poll, please. If you could change anything in your performance today, if I said to you, here's a drink, drink this, drink this, drink. It looks a bit weird, that, doesn't it? It is actually kind of like a milky espresso. Here's a drink. And when you've drunk it, you could have fixed a couple of these things. Choose, you can tick all of them if you like, but which one would you absolutely improve if you could? Now, we do these on webinars, by the way, because I appreciate you're coming onto the webinars to get some tips, but I give you the opportunity, people, in these webinars to just think as well and understand yourselves a bit better, and just take a moment and go, it might be Friday, but when this webinar's finished, I'm going to just let it settle. I'm going to think, right, I'm going to do something about this. And it might be you come back onto HIT if you're a HIT client and do a couple of workouts, which, by the way, we've got loads on there. So if you're not sure where to start, you drop me a message and I'll write you a little training plan. Or you can try HIT for free and learn a few things, try a few of our tips, log on to the next webinar. There's lots of opportunities for you to continuously improve. Don't rely on the knowledge that might be 5 or 10 years old. You'd be surprised how rusty you get. Those of us in a certain age bracket know exactly what I'm talking about. Right then, on to the next one. Beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody. So I'm nearly done with my warm up. I don't know if you noticed that's what's going on right now, getting you warm and ready to get the good stuff. I'm really here just to make Rosa and Matt look good. So let's keep going. Let's get some stats in, because you know, if you've been on these webinars, I do like a good stat. But look at these, yeah. So now, salespeople, I say it and I'm like, it doesn't float my boat. But because ultimately the recruiters that I work with, if they're in construction, they build bridges. If they are in facilities management, they keep buildings going so office workers can work. If they recruit teachers, they enable education within the UK, etc. So you do a big job. The salespeople is a bit of a derogatory term maybe, but I do know you struggle with our organisation across the board because of the stuff that you have coming at you from all angles that you predict and don't predict. But I do know if you do a great job and you ask for it, you will get a recommendation. Most of you don't. Only 11% of you ask for recommendations. Pants. Come on, let's be better at that. But ultimately as well, you engage with systems. And I'm not saying hide in them and put the phone down. I'm saying phone, typing, pulling data out, calling it, converting it, reconverting it, keeping it warm, using systems to drive your process. Absolutely. Worked with Terminator. Next, please. So I want you to be thinking whilst you're listening to Rose and Matt, right? I want you to be thinking, how are they helping me be more organized? How are they helping me generate more time in my day? And I would have put more calls, but sometimes you don't need to make more. You just need to make better. Yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily about more, it's about quality calls. I'm a big fan, especially with automation, making sure that recruiters have lists of the right people to call rather than just 250 people on a list. Yeah. I want you to think about how the tips that Rose and Matt are going to give you will boost you and give you that leg up, that degree extra to help you with your data and your systems, because you are awesome. Sorry if no one's told you that today. I'll take credit for making you feel good. But ultimately, we are here to earn a living. Yeah. Everything that we do should translate into a very big gin and tonic. I had a gin and tonic, by the way, in Swansea a couple of weeks ago. It was 30 quid. Maybe I need to go into recruitment and earn more commission. So think about that throughout these, and think about whether or not you are a pure salesperson or you are simply here to sell a job to a candidate, or sell a candidate to a client, or sell an offer to a candidate, or sell the concept of rejecting a counteroffer to a candidate, or you're a leader selling the promise of what recruitment could be to a recruitment consultant or colleague to help them. You know, if you're a parent, you're always freaking selling to your teenagers about why they need to tidy their rooms. If you're a dog owner, I'm going to share this with you. You're selling to your whippet not to run off and take an hour to come home, like that happened yesterday. You're selling. Everything you do is sales. Yeah. So always think about that throughout this webinar. Next slide. Right. I'm handing over and I'm going to mute myself now, warm myself out. You ready, aren't you, people? Say yes, Lisa. You ready for these tips? If all you get is one, because you know the other four, rock and frickin' roll. Get on with it and let us know how you get on. Good luck.
Well, thanks for that, Lisa. So yeah, just to start off, we always like to just start off by asking you what features you use that we're going to talk about. And this is for two reasons. One, do you know that feature is there? And number two, the way that we might show you how to use that feature today or talk about it might not be the way that you're currently using it. So it's always just really interesting for us just to find out, you know, what is it that you're doing on Bullhorn at the minute? What fields, what criteria, what sort of things are you up to? And then at the end, we'll ask a similar question and just to see how that compares. So if everyone just fill out their responses there. We getting plenty coming, Rose?
We are, yeah. It looks like statuses are in the lead, but quite low percentages on all. But yeah, status in the lead at the moment, and then we've got note types.
Brilliant, no problem there then. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about today is our workflow. So your workflow, you can really use this to help protect and secure your sales pipeline and also avoid any mistakes. Because when you are spinning 8,674 plates all at the same time, which you usually are in recruitment, it is very easy to drop one of those plates and not notice. So what do I mean by workflow? So what I mean is these buttons across the top of your Bullhorn. And what they allow you to do is you can really structure, actually, if you know your BD process is an email, a spec CV, getting a job, you know, then potentially booking an appointment with the client. rather than having to remember all of that in your head and try and keep track of it and think, have I done this? Have I done that? Where's that client? Literally just use your workflow across the top of the screen and let that do the hard work for you. It means you're not having to think then about all the different steps. So you can actually think about what you're really good at, which is selling, which is building those relationships. It's building that rapport. Plus, it can save you quite a bit of time as well, because rather than having to go into actions and find that and add all the notes manually, and then have to search through every single profile to find out what you've actually done or where your pipeline's at, nice and easy all across the top. So you can really use that workflow just to drive that process and free up your own headspace so you can focus on what you're brilliant at.
Excellent, thanks, Matt. And our second tip is using note types. So again, it's one of these things that, sometimes the most simplest things are the most useful things, really. And we really believe in using note types to help you drive and track your pipeline and drive your sales harder. I see a lot of clients when we do visions, and maybe they've got too many note types or not enough note types, but it might be something to consider to have a look at the note types that you add onto the system and just, decide whether they are actually truly a representation of what you would do on a BD journey. So rather than just having like contact call, which doesn't really mean anything, does that need a little bit more descriptive note types in there just to help you? And then once you're getting those note types, those specific maybe BD actions on the system with those note types, you can filter the note page a lot easier to find out where you are with a particular contact or client. And as we can see in the background here, we're using an advanced note search. If you haven't got that on Bullhorn, then drop a ticket to support and get that turned on. We're using an advanced note search to find people who have a certain type of call or maybe don't have a certain type of call. Maybe those are the people that we need to catch up with. So note types are a big win for us.
And on a similar vein, your note templates. So I'm sure a lot of you in your recruitment business, you might have a script or a workflow or even just some bullet points that you're meant to follow when you do a BD call or when you do a qualification call or something like that. But rather than having to have, 7 different windows open on your browser and having to think about, or just trying to memorize that script, what you can actually do is create note templates on Bullhorn. So when you do come to make that call or you do come to do a certain action, literally drop that note template in. First of all, your script's right there in front of you. You don't have to go looking and you don't have to be having 7 different screens open. But also, it is just going to allow you to actually look at those different sort of focus on the conversation. So rather than thinking, oh, I need to ask this, oh, I need to ask that, oh, I need to type this down, you can literally just add in your note template. When you find out, say, the size of the business, drop that number in right next to it. And that way, it just really allows you to focus on having those good conversations, building that rapport. And at the end of the day, those relationships is what's going to secure your sales pipeline, because there are lots of recruiters out there that do lots of different things, but there's only one you. So just by having that conversation and being able to focus on building that rapport, you can really help sell yourself. And the note types just mean, again, freeing up that brain space for you to do it.
Excellent. And our fourth tip is statuses. We talk a lot about statuses at Barclay Jones. We absolutely love them, but we really do feel like it is a representation and it tells you where your clients are in their particular journey with you, whether that's account management or business development. And it really helps you focus your attention on certain clients that you need to maybe develop or those that you need to keep in touch with. So yeah, if we can get onto the screenshot here. So nice and easy. I mean, the big thing for us is having a status. The status needs to have a clear definition. So that's the first thing. If you haven't got definitions in your business, that's one of the things that we would work with a client on, is getting those clear definitions. So what does lapsed mean? What does passive mean? Or what is a prospect? When does a prospect become an active client, and so on? But then once you've got that defined and you've got that journey level defined and it's clear to everyone, it makes it really, really easy for you to target those clients, get that business development data upon your system, and on a weekly basis or daily basis, find those clients that you need to build a relationship with, or maybe those that you need to continue that relationship with. So it just makes it a lot easier to really target the people that you want.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rose. And then our 5th tip today is sales contact grading. So the real gold in your sales contact grading is about saving you time and helping you focus on where are your quick wins, where's your easy money, where should you really be focusing your time and effort? Because let's be real, not all leads are equal. Yeah. I think the stat is, I think it's most recruiters only fill 1 out of 5 jobs. So if you spend all of your time equally on all 5 jobs, 80% of the time, you're not actually doing anything which is going to earn you any commission, which I'm sure none of you want to be doing. So by actually using some grading, what you can do is the people that you have got that really good relationship with, or perhaps you're on a PSL for, or you're a master vendor for, or that you've got an exclusivity agreement, you want to mark them out as potentially an A grade, because they're the people that you really want to focus your most time and your most effort on, because they're the people you're most likely to get your fees from. You might then have something like a B grade, which is people who, yes, they're in your niche, yes, they're in your locality, yes, you've got a candidate pool, but there's no specific relationship there, or there's nothing tagging them or tying them to you. So they're people that absolutely you can work and get a fee from, but you're fishing in a much bigger pool there. And then your C grades might be those people that are a little bit outside your niche, a little bit outside your grading, or you're potentially pulling the job off like some sort of portal or something like that. So you know, there is a lot less of a human element on. So, and what you really want to focus on is those A grade jobs, the people where you know you can pick up the phone, they know who you are, you've got terms of business. So all you need to do is sell that candidate in and fill that placement and get your quick win, get your easy money there. And you can even potentially, with your sales contact grading, split it up between recruiter as well. So if you do work in your business across different sales contacts, you might have a Rose A grade, a Matt A grade, a Lisa A grade, so that we can all focus individually on our relationships and how we manage with them.
Excellent, thank you. And our final tip, our 6th tip, is about automation, which we always throw an automation tip in there. So don't worry if you haven't got automation. This will be a little bit of insight into it for you. And if you have got automation, then brilliant. So one of the things that automation will do is when somebody receives an email, so when a sales contact, a client contact receives an email, dependent on what they do with that email, whether they open it, whether they click onto it, whether they answer a survey, whether they hit your website and start browsing around, that it manipulates and changes what we call an engagement score. Now, the reason why we're bringing it up is if you've got automation potentially in your business, you won't necessarily, as a recruiter or a consultant, you won't be in automation dealing with it, but it's something that you can actually see in Bullhorn as well. So have a look out for this if you have got automation in your business. As a recruiter, you should be able to go into Bullhorn and actually search in a contact list in Bullhorn for contacts with an automation score greater than, and Bullhorn recommend you look at about a score greater than 75. And what that's going to potentially show you is sales contacts that you've got a bit of a relationship with, or maybe a prospect contact that you maybe think he's not really doing much with you, but then when you look at their automation score, it'll be like, oh, actually this contact is opening the emails that we're sending. This contact might have even gone on your website to see what vacancies you've got on there, or hit your client's page. So definitely have a look out for that. But that's what the automation engagement score is. You might find some real interesting facts between your contacts and how they are scoring in terms of their automation engagement.
Fab. So they are our 6 tips for today. Your 5 Bullhorn ones plus your bonus automation one. We'd love to hear which one of those were your favorite, or it may be that you had a couple that you really like. You know, if just one of these tips is something that you can actually go, yeah, I don't currently do that, but actually that's going to make a real difference, or that's going to help me, then I'm going to take that as a win. Like, I'm happy with that. As long as there's one thing in there that you think, yes, that is what's going to make my day easier. That's what's going to help me better manage my sales pipeline. Great. Let's see what that is. Okay, sales contact grading, taking an early lead. There's templates pulling level with that now. Fantastic.
Lovely.
Oh. Okay, back over to you then, Lisa.
Beautiful. So what needs to happen now? Well, evidently you need to try these tips, which is helpful. If you don't have a recruitment hit license and you want to try it, put the word hit in your chat and I'll send you a link today so you can have a play. But ultimately, don't just turn up to the webinar and feel good about yourself. Grab the tips, do something about it. And look out for Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to be sending this video to you as well, so you can rewatch some of the stuff. Okay, next slide. So don't forget, my purpose, my business's purpose is to train and coach and build things for you to make your lives better. Yeah, don't just sit there being numb to the pain. It shouldn't take the time that it takes recruiters right now to do the level of sourcing that they're doing. So you might want to be inquisitive and just say, does it have to be the way it is right now? And I can guarantee the answer is probably no. We're doing some pretty cool things with our clients right now. So watch this space. Don't forget, we've got recruitment hit. We'd love you to try it. On to the next slide. I'm aware of time. Obviously, we've got loads of tips on our website as well. So when you receive the mailer, don't unsubscribe. You might not like a couple of the tips, but we do them weekly. So there might be one next week which could blow your minds. Talk about fear of missing out. You don't want to miss out. And obviously, we've got our next webinar. So grab those little QR codes there, or the links within the chat will do you the world of good, because you can book yourself on and then forget about it, she says. Next slide. Good luck with your weekends, everybody. Lovely to see you. Have a great end of week. Good luck with your Bullhorn. Good luck with your tips and your training and all of that lovely stuff. Go and be awesome. See you on the next webinar.
Take care.
Bye.